Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Inventure Podcast, where we're going to try and answer as many questions about commercial real estate as we can in a very short amount of time. My name is Doug Bozer, CEO of Inventure Companies, along with
Kelvin Comstock. I'm an associate here at Inventure Companies.
And we're really excited about this podcast episode. This is going to be a little bit of a question and answer between Kelvin and I, but we're going to really try and break down the myths about who Inventure is, what does Inventure do, and how do we help our clients with what we call the solutionist mentality, right, Kelvin?
Yep.
And so over the years, we've really worked hard to build an ecosystem. And that ecosystem is really designed as a full service firm, as we call it, to be able to say, take it from the deliverable of brokerage to design, build, and construction, on through the management, maintenance of the property, and then ultimately looking at even the disposition of that asset. And so Kelvin, maybe just give the viewers a little bit of what do you do here at Inventure specifically to help our clients?
So specifically what I do to help our clients is overall to show them what we do. So we're not necessarily just brokers. A lot of companies get stuck in that broker box, but that's not all we do. We have brokers, right? We do help at that front end. Somebody just wants us to help sell their building. But at that same time, we can help clients develop buildings. You know, they're not sure what that next step is after purchasing land. We're there to help them kind of guide and show them that next step in that process, because a lot of people get stuck and they also don't know how much money they can actually save by having us alongside them along that way. So we help with the development side. We can help them construct, not necessarily, you know, if they want to work with certain people, we're open to that. You know, we're solutionists. We'll help any way that you want to be helped in or need guidance on. We're here to help people bounce ideas off of. So we're here to help develop, construct, or you're just looking for investments overall. You know, you need help with tax benefits and you have a cash flow issue. You know, we can help in many different situations rather than just being stuck in that broker box.
So I spent the last couple days down in Florida meeting with some of our investors, and one of the things that they brought up was the fact that our team really is an all-encompassing team to help an investor, maybe it's a partner, to ultimately get what they need, right? And so part of what we work with them on is to figure out what they need help with, right? And so specifically, if we have a client come in, that client might start off by just saying, we need a new building. And before too long, we've then talked to that client about maybe they partner with us on the building. Maybe we bring the capital stack to the building. Maybe we help design and build that building. We can maintain that building. And they come in with a lot of nervousness about how do I go through this process, right? And one of the things that we work a lot with them on is kind of guiding them through the process. And so we don't have what I would call a cookie cutter process. It is very much an a la carte process. So specifically with that, like when somebody's coming in, let's say we have a professional service, a dentist come into us, right? And that dentist is looking for a new facility. We have the ability to guide them into an existing facility through our brokerage team. We also have the ability to say, let's look for a new facility. Maybe they're targeting a specific market. And we've got partners that build very specific dental offices that we can guide them to, or we could maybe help them build it themselves. And along that way, it really is about fulfilling their needs and understanding what their constraints are. And so when we think about that, like, you know, if there's a way that somebody can get those answers, it really starts with a discussion, does it not?
Mm-hmm, it does.
And so how, like, generally when you see somebody coming to us, what are some of the questions that they might have in regards to maybe just getting those high level questions answered?
A lot of clients will come to us and ask us, you know, what is the next step? What's it cost? And a lot of that system we've built already to kind of get that answer of, you know, high level costs to get, you know, lease rates and kind of vet them out to let them know if it's even achievable. So that's something big that we've worked on in the last 9 months to really refine the process of getting the client to know what that next step is in clarity and transparency.
And that specifically is our Blueprint product, right? So with Blueprint, we've developed with our brokerage team a 3-week process to basically walk them through harvesting a lot of information from them. They fill out a questionnaire. We have a couple meetings with them, but ultimately we give them the guidance to be able to say, maybe this isn't the moment in time that you build your new facility. Maybe this is a time when we look to go buy a facility and we renovate the facility. Or, you know what, really you've got to stay here for a while, build up your business a little bit more, and then exit this building. Or maybe you need a partner in the equity. Some of these buildings take a couple $1 million in equity. And so ultimately we're bringing that equity stack and creating that stack and going to our investors and saying, hey, we've got this new facility. We're looking for $3-4 million of capital, and we can help fulfill the needs of that client, because that might be a heavy lift for somebody that's just starting out, or even an existing building, to say, how do I come up with a couple $1 million for the equity in this new facility, right? And so you do a lot of specific work with our investors, and as the investor is coming into the project, what are some of the things that you've heard them say that they really appreciate about what we do here at Inventure?
Communication. They're extremely thankful of the amount of communication we have and transparency that we have. Whether it's a new construction build like the Wyndham Hotel, every week we send out notifications of updates of the construction, the budget, kind of risk points that we see during that week. To something simple like mailbox money, like the Walgreens that we purchased up in Sauk Rapids. Communicating that due diligence process and getting them in the system, the agreements signed, everything on a week-to-week basis that they don't have to worry about, that we're managing, but they see at a high level at an extreme amount of speed to be able to get them their mailbox money that they'd seen.
And again, specifically back to our staff, so putting these projects together is not an easy task, right? And so we've got the brokerage, who Jake and the team are really focused in on helping us find land, to find buildings. Ross is working on the asset side, trying to find new assets across the United States now to really be able to bring some of those, what I'll call easy or mailbox money assets together, right? And then you and I work on the development side, so we're putting together the developments and understanding the construction and working with our contractor partners or building it ourselves. And then the product kind of gets shifted over to Jason with maintenance, right? And so he and his team are working on the maintenance of these buildings, making sure the things are running and operating good, from the HVAC systems down through, the doors aren't squeaking. And then Melissa and her team in property management and asset management are really coordinating the efforts of making sure the buildings are humming without anybody else knowing it, right? So they're kind of like, they work in the cloak of darkness, because if there's nothing that you're hearing squeaking or nothing that somebody's complaining about that's broken, Melissa is really doing a great job with her team to make sure that that's happening, right? And then Austin and I kind of working with what I'll call the backside of these things for tax effect, right? So working with our partners at Brady Martz and some of our other attorney firms that are giving us guidance on these products, to be able to look at it and saying, if we if we have a disposition of this building now, what is it going to affect our partners and our investors, or is this a time to get rid of it, right? And so then ultimately looking at the portfolio and saying, constantly massaging that with the idea of being able to say, if we dispose of it, what can we go back into? How can we redeploy that equity to benefit all of the partners, and also continue to create that quest for $1 billion real estate portfolio? So in your mind today, of the people we have here, is that achievable? We talk about $1 billion, that's a lot of money, Kelvin, right? And that means for the next several years, we're going to do about $100 million in asset acquisitions or development. In your mind today, your belief lid, can we build that $1 billion portfolio?
Yeah, and even in this Q1, what I've noticed is, we've already almost got 50 million in the pipeline ready to go. So just seeing that process that we've built work is exciting to see with the 9 months that I've been here. But also the most exciting thing to see is our partners. They can help us build the buildings. Like we're not necessarily, we're open to kind of working with anybody that is inside our partnership circle to help them. You know, if let's say we want to bring along an excavating team, you know, to bounce off some ideas with them, then they can come along and go full circle. They can partner along inside the building. They can, you know, do the work inside the building, along with the tax benefits that comes along with them coming inside the investments. So for me, the process of seeing that is extremely cool because a lot of people aren't aware of that. They just think we're a brokerage company, right? So seeing that outside box from the relationships that Doug's had along the years of being in the construction business, just a lot of people don't see how beneficial it is to work alongside what we have built here at Inventure.
Yeah, and our growth really with that idea of building that portfolio size, we look at target markets of, you know, Arizona, Texas, potentially Florida, certainly a good chunk in Minnesota. But with that, you know, those 4 states, maybe a few others sprinkled in, we definitely are going to be traversing the United States and spreading our wings a lot more, but we have a lot of investors and connective tissue in those states already that are going to lead us down there in a very short time. So when I think about the needs, right? So we have a need at Inventure companies, and it's really a two-prong approach. So one is the velocity of projects coming in, right? To do $100 million in real estate a year, you need some pretty good sized projects. But really, we do everything from a $500,000 building, $1 million building, up to something like we have in the background here at Egondale, you know, close to $20 million. So that's a wide range, right? So the process by which we're doing this takes everybody from our finance team, our accounting teams that we have built inside of it, right? So I always kind of kid around with people like we're a development firm, but we're also half accounting firm. Like the amount of people that we have hired here just doing accounting on a daily basis, it's pretty impressive. And what they do is even more impressive because when you take a building like this building might take $1 million to $2 million flowing through its veins just to keep it alive on a yearly basis, right? So that accounting is huge to us. But when we think about that velocity of assets, right? So deals coming in, those deals come from people calling us. So if you've got, you know, a building that you're looking at it going, you know, I'd really like to maybe exit this building, put it into different hands. Maybe you want to sell part of your building. Maybe you're looking at expanding it and you're like, you know, I'm a manufacturing company that really needs an expansion, but I don't want to put the equity into a new building. Give us a call, right? I mean, we have the solutions. We've done the you know, these types of projects before. Sale leasebacks is the specific terminology. But there's benefits to a lot of different things, and it all starts with a phone call. So if you're an investor that's looking to invest in commercial real estate, give us a call to just talk. Like we kid around, but it's really the truth is we don't sell anybody anything. What we create is the opportunity to grow wealth through commercial real estate. You have the ability to enter into something that you maybe have wanted to invest in years in commercial real estate. This is a point where we can bring these assets forward to be able to give those opportunities to investors, right?
Absolutely.
And then from that, Calvin, you've heard me say this a lot, but our job is really to then become a good mentor to that investor and teach them our process. Like we give away our process to our investors, and the goal really is for that investor to look at it and go, hey, I've got a buddy over here that looks like he needs a new building. How can we partner to help him out with that process, right?
Right.
And so that's another way that, you know, we start to really create that ecosystem of opportunities and investors. And so when we think about those two flows in and out of our company, we kind of balance it with how many investments we have going on at one time, how many investors do we have in the pipeline. And I think that the really cool thing that we've done this last year, and anybody that's invested with us, you've seen our growth over the last couple of years, but you've also seen some of the very specific details and process that we've put in place, right? And so our process now of being able to deliver the investment out to our investors and what you've done specifically at HubSpot, which I'm really proud of you, and you've been a great asset to our team and being able to help. But maybe talk about how we're doing the kind of the preliminary, early call out of, hey, this investment's available, to then all of a sudden the offering itself.
Right. So what I've been doing in HubSpot is basically taking all our current investor partners, and within that 24 hours, I'm going to call it the VIP list, which is our current partners. We do a 24-hour awareness, which just kind of shows, we got an investment coming up in the pipeline. Then following that 24 hours, I will release the offering, which will include a video of the offering of the asset that we're going to be purchasing, why, the numbers that everybody loves, the juicy numbers. And then following that, inside that we have a link to our investor portal, which ultimately leads to the soft commitment button, and that leads directly to me, so then I can put that stack together. It is first come, first serve, so as that email comes out, get your, watch the video, make sure it's an asset for you before you click that soft commit button. But once you get inside that portal and soft commit, you are on a wait list, and then basically I go through and create the stack off of that. Also, as I receive that stack, I'll give you a phone call, reach out, kind of get your thoughts if there's any questions you have on the asset. But following that, then we start our unique process of 3 investor meetings to the date of receiving the equity. So that first one will be kind of talking about how, the investment overall, the building, what it is, because a lot of these investors, read the email, but then they'll also follow that process, or they're on the call so they can kind of see who's in the investment, or reach out to Doug or Austin or I if there's any, in-depth questions of the budget. Then that second email will kind of be, what the process has been moving along, kind of talk about the agreements, any questions on the agreements. A lot of the agreements that we have now for the subscription agreements are kind of systematic, I want to call. So a lot of our investors will come to me and just, go high level, read through it, and then I'll send it to them through DocuSign, extremely efficient. They've read through it, they've had the documents before, so it's just an extremely quick process for that. And then that third one will be going over the final budget and, really executing and getting that equity in, which is just an extreme process that we've built for efficiency.
Yeah, and don't tell anybody, but Calvin has raised about, $7 million?
Yes.
$7 million over the last month, which honestly, buddy, that is just killing it. And again, super proud of what you're doing here, super proud of what you're learning, but it is a testament to our team, right? None of us do it individually. It is all because of the team that supports us across the platform, right? But guys, if you're at all interested in making money, if you're at all interested in getting into commercial real estate, you just got to reach out to us. Drop us a line, drop us an email, text us and go, hey, I'm interested. We're not selling you on anything. In fact, we probably have 10 cups of coffee, 20 cups of coffee a month, where people are just interested in understanding. And then we sit, throughout the next couple of months to a year, and they'll cultivate. We'll keep, sending information to them. And then at the point, I think you said it before, and it's a really good statement, make sure you're investing in the thing that fits right for you, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to send out everything from institutional assets, commercial assets, medical assets, industrial assets, a little bit of retail assets. And you might this one isn't for me. Just wait, because along the way, there'll be another asset coming probably in the next month or two. And as we continue to really pick up the pace in these next years, that will probably become a cadence of at least one a month. And so if it didn't fit today for you for whatever reason, just wait, because there will be more. And we just had this conversation with one of our investors this last week. Mm-hmm. And we talked to him and we're like, if you don't want in on it, no pressure. Honestly, God, no pressure. Make sure it's right for you, right? Our investments do have risk. We're really proud. Our returns, are scaling quickly. The amount of returns that we've paid out, dividends that we've paid out, is continuing to grow. So again, just give us a call, right? It's the easiest first step that you can do. Reach out to us, get a hold of Calvin, myself, Austin, any of our team. can get you directed to starting your journey on creating wealth with Inventure companies. So with that, any last words of wisdom, Kelvin?
Yeah, so one thing that I want to say is, ask a question to yourself is, where do you fit in our ecosystem? As an investor, think about where you fit in our ecosystem. The thing that I've learned from Doug is, to find out how to make a deal work. And we are solutionists, so we always find a way to make it work. And, where do you fit in our ecosystem? As an investor, where do you fit, to help everybody win? We've built a system on creating wins, so how do you win with us?
I can't say it any better. This kid is rocking it. Great job. Again, this is our Inventure Companies podcast. Welcome. And if you have any other questions, feel free to call us, text us, send out smoke signals. I don't care. We'll respond to it. But
Yep.
Look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Thank you.